certainly there is a large amount of vaccine skepticism, vaccine hesitancy in the country. It is principally politicized.
And people say, do you think it's safe to get vaccinated? I've said, yeah, I think for the most part it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I go, no.
How worried are you that the politics continue to affect even this most basic blocking and tackling and getting out of the coronavirus?
Unfortunately, I think we are at the end of any meaningful discussion about vaccines. And maybe I'm being overly pessimistic here. I agree with you. Masking and reopening, we can have legitimate debates about that. But the vaccine question, I personally think we need to be past that. There are people who want more information. They need to feel a little more secure. I'm all for talking people through that process. But the people who have politicized this, the people who say things like, I'm not getting the vaccine, and if there are passports, I'll get a fake one. That's performative and attention-seeking. And it's time to be done talking to those people, and it's time to begin stigmatizing them in the same way that we would have stigmatized people who didn't want to get a polio vaccine or a smallpox vaccine in an earlier time. When I was a boy, there was nobody in my neighborhood who said, well, I'm not getting the polio vaccine. You did it because it was a good thing to do and because you were protecting your community. And I just think that now on the vaccine issue, the arguments for hesitancy are mostly bad faith. And I don't think we get very far by indulging bad faith arguments.
Getting a polio vaccine wasn't even patriotic. It was just kind of common sense.
Right. And the idea that somehow you would show your individualism or make it a political declaration to say, well, my son's not getting the polio vaccine would have been ludicrous. And I think that's where we are with this. I think, we've proven these vaccines are safe. They're highly effective. They're going to give us our lives back, return the country and the world to normal. And now you have people simply saying, well, I'm not going to do it because I am narcissistic and, attention seeking. And I just think it's time to be done with that.
Would you favor making vaccines mandatory for those that do not have a medical or legitimate religious reason to not take one?
No, but I also wouldn't stop public organizations, businesses, schools from saying, you don't have to get the vaccine, but you can't come in here. If you want to go to the movies, you get a vaccine. You want to watch Netflix and stay home, you're free to do that as an American. What I object to are the people who say, I want to be the free rider. I want everybody else to get vaccinated. I want the economy to open up. And I still want to thump my chest and say, I didn't have to do it. Well, life doesn't work that way. That's not how adults live in a community.
So meaningful consequences for people that refuse to vaccinate in this environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, actions have consequences.
So what about vaccine passports? President Biden has said that he does not want that to occur. We've seen big fights happening in various states and municipalities. A lot of corporations, of course, saying that they are going to move forward with their own sorts of passports for employees.
I think it's sad to think that in a 240-year-old democracy like the United States, that we even have to think about vaccine passports instead of being able to trust our fellow citizens. I'm kind of agnostic on them because there are people who have already vowed to get fakes and counterfeits if vaccine passports are implemented. I will say that I had one as a child because I couldn't travel overseas to see my relatives without an international smallpox vaccination form. And it shows you how irrational we've become about this, because when I mentioned this once some years ago to a younger student, he said to me, smallpox? Why did they vaccinate you for that? Nobody gets that. And of course, you wait a moment and let the penny drop and they, oh, right, that's why nobody gets it.
That's why, yeah.